When New Horizons was officially released, it was promised a couple years of updates. Very vague, but we did get updates for about a year and a half. You could argue they lasted longer with the addition of the tomato shirt in August 2022, but I don't really know if people count this as an update. Weird last item to include though, not gonna lie. New Horizons players get the opportunity to sit back and watch the Pocket Camp Twitter account announce update after update after update. But New Horizons is dead, and it's all Nintendo's fault. The only way to revive a game nowadays is to offer updates for forever. Should Nintendo update New Horizons until the end of time? Or until a new game comes out? Would it benefit from the Pocket Camp treatment, or should New Horizons die the slow, painful death that we've all been experiencing? If you're not familiar with the history of updates to New Horizons, we got about a year and a half of updates, ending with a 2.0 patch that added a ton of new mechanics that were data mined over a year prior, but we don't talk about the amount of time that passed before we finally got access to them. But since November 2021, nothing. Well, not absolutely nothing. We did get that tomato shirt and some other small holiday items, but nothing groundbreaking that made people want to return to the game. Today, it seems like every game is always updated. Companies would rather update their existing game than spend a ton of money making a completely new version. Why update graphics quality and processing when you can just add an Ariana Grande skin into a game and make a boatload of money? If you've been hiding from Twitter like a sane person does, you've probably missed the sheer number of mods that the Animal Crossing community has been creating. And God, they're all beautiful. Every single one. Everything from smaller decorations to huge buildings, the 3D artists are really going all out. And it's brought new life into a game that's been considered dead since the final update dropped almost a year ago. Everyone's trying to give life to this game that we all love so much. Nintendo has never been one to follow the indefinite update model. They've always stuck to the tradition of creating sequels and improving each game in the next installment. In the past, Miyamoto himself has said that he hates the free-to-play model and isn't interested in styling games like MMORPGs. He's one to finish a game and move on to the next project. Granted, Miyamoto doesn't have a public hand in the Animal Crossing series, but looking at all of Nintendo's games, this seems to be a common theme. Nintendo tends to stay away from the here buy everything in a game you already bought model, with the exception of mobile games of course, but these will always be cash grabs because that's just how the mobile game space started. They've recently started to head towards prolonging games' lives by providing these content updates for a limited amount of time after the game releases. Titles like Splatoon, Animal Crossing, and Mario Kart are some that have gotten this treatment. Nintendo has even taken the updates a step further by releasing a DLC for the games as well. But this is the only evidence of updates requiring extra cash to experience. And I wouldn't even consider them updates, more like a complete expansion. I mean, Happy Home Paradise was literally its own game at one point. Nintendo only lets us pay for the good stuff. As awesome as a bunch of new furniture is, it's not really part of the developer's usual business practices. If that was the case, we would have been paying for the 2.0 update along with the Happy Home Paradise DLC, but they gave us all that awesome furniture for free. So should Nintendo keep updating New Horizons? I want to say yes. I want new furniture. I would love for Nintendo to support this game until the next installment is ready to be released, but they can't. Not without forcing us to spend money every time they release new stuff. Game development isn't cheap. 3D art isn't cheap. There would be no revenue stream for these developers if they kept working their butts off to release new items for us for free. As much as I would love content forever, I love the way Nintendo doesn't put everything behind a paywall. They know the audience of their games, maybe the intended audience of their games is children who usually can't afford to drop a ton of money on a game. They release enough updates to satisfy us, most of us, and then move on to the next project. Pocket Camp gets updates all the time, but the mobile game has always had a steady supply of income from locking items behind leaf tickets, the currency in the game, which you can absolutely get naturally, but only a few. Just enough to get 1 or 2 items from that new furniture drop rather than the whole set. There's also the Pocket Camp Club, which is a subscription-based monthly payment feature that gives the player a boatload of items and currency to throw around the game. If New Horizons received a similar update schedule as Pocket Camp, you bet your butt there would be a paid subscription model, which I think would kind of ruin New Horizons for me. Our lives are consumed by monthly payments. I don't really want to add New Horizons to this list. Personally, I think the best thing for the game is a slow and painful death until the next iteration in the series is finally announced. Which, maybe could be soonish. Before the gap between New Leaf and New Horizons, thank you Wii U, each Animal Crossing game came out in 3 to 4 years, not counting spin-offs, with New Leaf and New Horizons both being initially announced 2 years before the game finally released. So, if we're following patterns, then we should be hearing about Animal Crossing New Space any day now. but realistically, there isn't a pattern. I'm sure we'll all have to wait patiently for a new console to release, and then we'll get a new Animal Crossing game. In the meantime, I'll be doing the dumbest speedrun known to man, and enjoying my time looking at all the crazy mods our lovely community has been so nice to create for us. Do you want New Horizons to still be updated, or would you rather anticipate the next game? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!